Morning, it's Martin from Martin's Engine Services. It's another glorious morning here in Outwell, West Norfolk. Sun's just breaking through. It's quite chilly actually, it's quite deceiving. Still, been a bit of a hectic start to the week. Big more. Um, Another big pile of garden waste sitting there. There's 4 half sacks to go, which is the end of the huge hedge cutting job. Me and my neighbour soldiered through it on Monday and we actually finished it. I think we was about 11 and a half hours at it. Give you some idea of how vast this hedge is. Just looking down there, you can see where there's the big trees, and the hedge goes all the way along here, all the way up there. It drops down where I lowered it last year. There's obviously the driveway behind the house. You can't see it. Comes up here, goes all the way along here, right behind the workshops. I won't go into the sun because it's not going to like that. And you go all the way along there, come round the corner here, and you get that huge great hedge goes all the way around and back up into the trees. Now, and there's a little bit down in the corner. It's about 3 meters wide at the top. My neighbour actually climbs in there with a ladder and cuts it, and as you can see, he's got it absolutely perfect. I mean, that section over there is all cut by eye. I mean, that's quite remarkable, isn't it? And actually put a laser level along, I think, but he does a wonderful job. So I trade him work and help him with his machines and stuff, and he likes cutting hedges, and I think he takes sympathy on me when he's seen how badly I do it. So job done. I must admit that was one hell of a day Monday, and I was just about dead by Monday night. And then I was up bright and early Tuesday to go and pick up this little Peugeot 206, which has been known to me for many years. Sold it to the family just before Christmas as a little runabout because they had the Kia Venga which expired, and it's all been going. It had a problem with the power steering pressure switch, which I mentioned in a little video a few months back, and it started running badly and misfiring. And I live in Royston, Cambridgeshire, so yesterday morning I left here very early, dived down there, picked it up, brought it back, expecting it to be maybe a coil pack or a plug, but it appears to have blown the head gasket. The coolant was down slightly, and pistons 1 and 2, or right, it's a French engine, that'd be 3 and 4, are actually steam cleaned, and the other 2 cylinders are fine. Although it runs fine, I did a leak or combustion gas test, and straight away it revealed exhaust gases in the coolant. So they need to upgrade to a bigger car. They need a state car. So they've got a couple of little boys and football and the rest of it. So they said, okay, fine, just leave it with you. You can have it. And if you can do anything with it, then basically it's yours. I mean, obviously I've got a recovery fee to put on to get out the car. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. I mean, it's a tidy little car, so I'll probably repair it, knowing me, my soft spot for these older cars. And talking of older cars and projects, in the workshop here we've got the 2003 Honda Civic, which I'm getting ready to MOT at some point. Things have escalated slightly. I did discover a nasty piece of rust in the wheel arch here behind a screw-on plastic sort of water deflector. The plastic clips had basically rusted around them, and this section had gone here. It's gone just inside the arch here, but that's all solid. So I thought, well, I'm not in a hurry to do this, and I'll cut it out and do it properly. I'll make a nice plate that goes in all the way around. I'll put a lip on the bottom for the seal, little piece in the arch here, and then I'm going to trim the sill up a bit more yet, and then I'll trim that out, make a new section for the sill. The rest of it underneath, the underseal's flaking off. I've been along there yesterday and scraped it all off, give it a good tap about, and it's all good. Likewise, got a couple of similar issues on the passenger side. No real problem here. There's the horrible plastic clip. There's no real issue here. It's a little bit dirty there. We'll clean that up. There is a small hole in the seal back here and a little hole in the inner seal. The rest of it under there is absolutely perfect. I've got the brakes apart because I've been checking the calipers and the slide pins. They were seized on the other side. Calipers are okay. I just wanted to make sure everything was all right in there before doing any major work on it. So I'm not in any hurry. It's just a project car, a little fill in. So I'll make a couple of plates up and get them welded in there. Make a nice job of it. And I've done a few other little odds and ends on it. Although I haven't sorted out the rear light with the bulb storage facility. But so the last few days have been a bit chaotic. So I think today could be a little calmer. Although this afternoon I'm going to go and have a look at the 1969 Morris Minor that I rebuilt quite a few years ago for a local gentleman. It actually broke down. He's trying to leave the car show on Saturday. Now, I'll tell you why it's broken down, and it's going to be quite obvious. He had the bonnet up during the car show, and they had a rainstorm. And we all know what's happened. The rain's gone down the bulkhead, soaked the fuse box, soaked all the wiring, and probably got to the ignition. Now, he has had fitted, not by myself, because I wouldn't put one of these on, one of those rather cheap electronic ignition conversion kits, where you basically buy a whole distributor, comes with all those fancy little sensors and wires, and you put it in. Now, somebody did that for him, telling him that, oh, it's much better because it's modern and all the rest of it. The original Lucas distributor to the car, to my knowledge, the car is still in there, was, and the points of condenser we put in there would have been 8 years ago now or more. I've adjusted them once, and he does drive this car a lot, does a lot of miles, does a lot of shows. So we all know where the best answer would be: leave it original. Now, those distributors are known to be bad because he actually carries the points distributor in the boot, and lots of the people you read on the owners forum do the same. So when the electronic one fails, you put the points in to get home and then get another electronic one. Well, I think we all know the logic of that one. Don't. My poor old Morris Minor's got a very, very worn distributor. Doing the points gap's quite hilarious because if you wobble the base plate, you get a gap from nothing to about 5 mil. But somewhere in the middle, there's a sweet spot, and I've only adjusted it once, I think, in 5 years. And it runs perfectly, it starts perfectly, and I just leave it alone. Don't overcomplicate things. So I'll go and sort that out today. I mean, there's not much in the wiring, a couple of wires. Probably going to be a bad connection, it's all I can imagine. It was running absolutely fine till it got wet. The only unfortunate thing is there was lots of willing volunteers at the car show who all started tinkering, pulling wires off and poking the carburetor and all the rest of it. So we just hope no one's pulled something off they shouldn't, poked something they shouldn't, because we all know what happens there. You get some expert comes along, oh, it was running fine, it's got rained on, oh, we'll take the carburetor apart, oh, the timing's gone out, oh, the crankshaft snapped in half, blah, blah, blah. So I should be interested to see what's actually happened. Still, there's nothing going on about that. Over here on the engine stand is the 1.4 Vauxhall engine, which is all finished, ready to go back. I've got the belt covers on. I actually had to resort to gaffer taping up the hole in the cover rather than silicone a blanking plate on, because this cover's so clean and the plastics are shiny, nothing would stick to it. So that works. I've made sure that the timing bolt modification clears the pulley. There's a 1 mil gap. So all I'm waiting for now is the cam cover to come back, and she's ready to go. So I'm pleased with that. I've put a couple of other odds and ends off of it, done the water housing, it's buried under there, and a few bits and pieces. Should be receiving the crankshaft for the 1.4 Puma engine, Z-Tech SE, and I can get on with that. I've cleaned up the sump and the main bearing carrier. Make use of this nice warm weather. I'll give the block a good clean off, although it's in very good order. Get that ready. Can't get the cam cover to clean up any further. That horrible white sort of powdery look on there is not actually aluminium corrosion. It's actually magnesium. These covers are made of a magnesium alloy, and it appears it's got wet or something's got to it, and it's actually raised the surface up and left this hard white coating on there. I've tried sanding it in places, it doesn't really work, so I don't know if we find another one or we'll just paint it to make it look better. There is actually a cover goes over those, so it doesn't really matter, but I'm not sure when it runs that. But yeah, so that's underway. So the crank should be arriving this week. We'll get the bits ordered up. A few bits over there ready to go back. Belongs to the stock car engine. On that hub there is actually out of a ST150 Fiesta. I helped the guy do some work on his the other day, and that's what I swapped the Honda for. And that spare hub there, he just said, "Can I put a wheel bearing in it?" Now normally it's very simple on those. Undo the nut, take the hub off, take the circle out, pop it in the press, and out they come. I got that to the point where the press was almost bending and it wouldn't come out. And I had to warm that hub up to the bottom of the hub was almost cherry red hot, and then it took nearly 10 tons before the bearing come out. And it came out with an almighty bang. And I can see what had happened because someone had put a bearing in the past, and they'd pressed it in initially slightly out of line, and of course they'd picked up a little tiny bit of the hub which had gone down with the bearing and just locked it in, because there's a couple of little bits of swarf, sort of swarthy iron came out, and you can see the marks. I thought, aha. So I put it in the lathe and cleaned it out and pressed it together, and I thought, it's a 10-minute job, I'll do that for him. He brought me the bearing, and boy, did that thing put up a fight. It got personal in the end, but I wasn't giving up. I mean, it's only a spare, it might never get used, but he asked me to pop it in, so it's only fair. So other than that, we got bits and pieces everywhere, debris from cleaning up engines, lawnmowers parked here. Actually, it was a lot more chaotic yesterday. I did have an emergency clear up last night. There's stuff all over the place, and there's bits in here from looking at the Peugeot, and it's a little bit excitable, shall we say. So that's what I'm up to today. So we'll be making a plate for that, get that underway, and then I'm going to deal with the Morris Minor, go to the tip for the last run, stake my place in the in there and start unloading, because it gets very excitable because everybody wants to be in the same place at once. Some people like to put their bags around the bottom of the steps and claim their stake on the skip. Some like to park as close as possible. They will push past you, huff, puff and groan. No one will wait for you to go up the steps with a heavy bag. And apart from that, it's fairly normal. It does amuse me because I was up there the other day and there was a young girl there, and she had a huge sack full of garden rubbish and she was struggling to carry it across from the car park section. Not one person there offered to help her. So I immediately did the heroic thing and sprang into action and said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "Thank you." No one else could even be bothered. And I thought, what a sad reflection on the attitude of it. So I did my good deed for the day. So I'll leave you with that positive thought. I think it's time for some more tea because it's quite early, and I need at least 3 cups of tea to get anything happening in the morning. Clear up the last few bits of garden debris, and then that will be that job over. One last look at that beautifully cut hedge. That's quite amazing, that. If I'd have done it, it would have looked like waves on the sea, trust me. I did it a couple of times a few years ago, and I think my neighbour looked at it and thought, "Oh my God, what's this lunatic doing?" And he likes to do he does like a neat hedge, so fine by me. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Please like and subscribe. Gained a couple more subscribers, which is really pleasing. I'm glad someone likes my wafflings and antics, and I like to just post what I like, so and that's it. So again, thanks very much indeed, and bye for now.